everybody. It's Tim Constantine from the Washington Times, joined as I am every week by my good friend David Bozell for America. Hi, David.
Hey, Tim. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. You know, we got some horrible news this past week. Our friend Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. You and I both know Charlie, and it's horrible when you see anything happen. I think it does strike a different part of your brain when you know the person. And so it hit at an even deeper level. Tell me where you were and what was going on when you found out what was happening.
I had just gotten home from a lunch with the Speaker of the House, actually, with a number of conservative bigwigs, I suppose. And we were plotting and solving all the world's problems up in the Capitol. And I got a text that he had been shot. I saw my phone, saw the video. I had gotten a text that he was not going to survive before that got public. It was just devastating to see. I am so jealous of Charlie in a lot of ways. I wish I was able to start an activist organization as prolific as his was. I wish I could be as prolific of a debater and a speaker, public speaker, and be as good as he was. I wish I could be as good of a fundraiser as he was. He had a talent stack that was second to none. He's going to be sorely missed. I think TPUSA is going to be in very good hands and going to do terrific things in the future using Charlie Kirk as their guiding spirit. But he's going to be, it's a big loss for the conservative movement. He did things that were unparalleled and it's going to be a big loss.
You know what bothered me, and this is not uncommon in today's media, is they conflate things. They will say, far right instead of just if you lean to the right, you are now always far right or right-wing extremist, or, there are always semantics that make you seem as though you're way off the bell-shaped curve. But the thing that bothered me the most with Charlie is the people, including the shooter apparently, who were saying, oh, I'm so tired of his hate, or the people after he was killed that were saying, well, it's okay because, first of all, it's never okay. There's plenty of people I disagree with politically. I don't want any of them to die. But the idea that he was spreading a message of hate, and I went over the past couple of days and just watched video after video after video when he would speak to people. What he did was brilliant. You just mentioned how good he was at what he did. And when he would go and meet with these kids on university campuses, he was open to hear anybody. Yeah. If you were gay, lesbian, transgender, you were in favor of anything, he didn't interrupt you, he didn't cut you off, he didn't make fun of you, he didn't mock you. And at the end, what he often did, he would have someone he vehemently disagreed with, he would share his opinion, he'd let them share theirs, but then he'd shake hands and he'd wish them well. I literally, in all of these videos, and there are hundreds of hours of videos of Charlie on the internet, I haven't found 5 seconds of hatred on there. And so when that message keeps going out from certain people on MSNBC or elsewhere, I wish, rather than just think he was conservative, so he must have been hateful, I wish they'd watch his videos. I wish they would watch Charlie's content, read what he wrote, because I didn't find hate in there anywhere. Yeah,
it's the indictment says it all. This kid could not debate Charlie Kirk, so he shot him. And the left and the media have that same intuition. MSNBC's behavior while Charlie was fighting for his life in those early moments after the shooting, their instincts were just terrible. Matthew Dowd suggesting that it may have been a supporter waving his gun around that caught him in the neck, and that hateful words lead to hateful actions. Kathy Tur just nodding along. I mean, you've been in a breaking news situation, Tim. All you got to do is put your finger up to your earpiece and listen to the producer tell you what's going on, that it's a fluid situation, and maybe kick it to somebody on the ground who may know more information. That's it. That's the job of a breaking news anchor woman. Instead, Catherine Tur is out there saying, in the right after he was shot, well, I'm super nervous because maybe President Trump will use this as a political opportunity. What kind of instincts promote that kind of thinking. I mean, get outside and kick some rocks, sweetheart. I'm just not interested in that kind of opinion anchoring, particularly in that moment. And then in the days subsequent, when it was discovered that the shooter had a Republican father, and see, he's right wing. See, we're off the hook. Phew, I mean, that was really the tenor of it. The left wing is off the hook on this one because this kid had a Republican father. And then now, led by ABC with the reporter Gutman, wow, what a love story that the shooter had with his roommate. These guys this press has turned themselves into pretzels, trying to almost defend the assassin and paint this rosy picture of an assassin. And I don't think the country's buying it. I mean, there was a YouGov poll that the public initially believed that the shooter was right wing. But I think those numbers will change over the course of coming days. And I just can't wait for the memorial service because I think it's going to be beautiful. And I think it's going to be broadcast far and wide. And I think people are going to learn if they didn't know already, they're going to learn the real Charlie Kirk and the truth about Charlie Kirk.
You know, the mistake people make, and this is not just the left, not just the right, it's human beings for all of eternity. They make the mistake of thinking they can silence not just a person, but an idea. And you can look, Charlie was conservative. Charlie shared what we call traditional values. And if you didn't like those values, this young man apparently thought if he shot him, that message would go away. What we've seen is it's been amplified. I think of MLK, you know, when he was shot, the hatred, the anger, all it did was amplify the message of equality and of what needed to be. And somebody in that era, you go back to 1968, who may have thought, yeah, everyone should be the same, but never been an activist or never taken any action, suddenly sees Martin Luther King Jr. get shot and killed for doing peaceful demonstrations and thinks, whoa, that's too far. And all of a sudden a nation stands up and things happen exactly the opposite of what the shooter intended. And of course, the greatest example of all time, they crucified a guy about 2,000 years ago, thinking they were going to quiet him down, and you and I still talk about him now. So I think here it's the mistake for me is when the left is trying to, and there's people on the right have done it as well, but the left is trying to make this a political item. And I think this is a guy who was out doing what he believed in his heart, sharing his spirituality and his political beliefs, and they killed him for it. I don't care if you're on the left or the right. There is never a circumstance in which that is acceptable. It's just not.
I love what Glenn Beck said earlier in the week, that we have to reframe Charlie as a civil rights leader instead of just a conservative activist. And I think conservative activist kind of just sort of pigeonholes him as a political voice, and he was much more than that. And I thoroughly endorse Glenn Beck's call to reframe Charlie Kirk as a civil rights activist because he did what he did. He grew and became so popular, kind of in the censorship era, where every single social media platform, these platforms are the biggest communication tools that man has ever created. And every single one of them tried to censor Charlie Kirk for one reason or another, and one poor reason after another. And his message was so attractive and so popular that grassroots Americans on the ground fought their own social media platforms and fought those kingpins and fought those censors and said, we want more of this. Okay, we want this viewed. We want this in my feed. And it's just a testament to his talent, really, that not only was he popular and correct more often than not, he did it fighting through these censors. That conservatism has fought through successfully, led by, in no small part, by Charlie Kirk. So
he was a really gifted messenger.
Yeah.
But clearly there is a hunger for that message.
Yep.
I think that's where we end up on the other end of this. For America, he is Dave Bozell. I'm Tim Constantine. We'll see you next time.